Hello and welcome to True Perspective. My name is Joy Wankwo, and I'm so glad to bring to you another episode. Today I have with me Mrs. Julianah Abejide. She is the founder of Julianah Photography. Hey, welcome with me, Julianah. Hello, sis.
Hello. Thank you, viewers. Thank you for this opportunity.
You're welcome.
I'm so delighted to be a part of this program today. Once again, thank you.
You're welcome.
As she has introduced me, I'm humbly your girl, Julianah. I'm a mom, a wife, a sister, and a founder of Julianah Photography. And I'm a believer. I'm a Christian.
Wow.
That's a brief about me.
Thank you for that very, on point introduction.
Thank you.
Yes, I know that you have your hands full with a lot of things that you're doing. But, tell us what's your journey like? Tell us your background. Because I know you as Julianah Photography. That's all I know. But I know there's more to you. So tell us how have you, what were you before Julianah Photography? And what have you been involved with, if we want to say?
All right.
Okay, yeah.
Nothing much has changed since founding the photography outfit. Haven't changed. I'm still my humble self. I've been in Canada for over 6 years. I came in with a lot of aspiration, and I'm thankful for the journey so far. I would tell you it's not been a walk in the park. A country where you're starting from afresh, so to speak, and you come in and you see what you're not accustomed to in terms of culture, in terms of even belief. I mean, even in terms of weather too.
Absolutely. So that one is very, very key.
Beyond what we see on the internet, on the news, it's a different ballgame entirely in reality. But in all of this, I'm thankful for the journey, and it brought out a different me. It brought out resilience, it brought out creativity, it brought out strength, it brought out weakness too.
Wow.
But thankfully, having the strength to overcome our weakness is another study
on its own.
On its own. Yeah. So talking about photography, I grew up in a family where, especially my late dad, he loved quality photography. Like, whenever he saw that as a family heirloom, and I mean that in the sense that he loved large family, he loved a bubbling environment, and once extended family members were in, neighbors, friends, we would just be like, let's capture this moment. Let's keep it. You never know. I mean, in the next couple of years, the same set of people here might not just be the same set of people we're going to have. Let's just, then was a long time ago, no social media
at all.
No phone. So the easiest way to document social gathering for my late father back then was through pictures, and he would always ask who is the best photographer in town. Let the person be called upon and snap us. So growing up, there were a lot of albums here and there. Back in the days, you visit someone in their homes, and even before the food comes in, oh, where's your album?
Yes, you're so right. Everybody brings out, we keep album and pictures.
It was a thing of hyping. It was a thing of hyping. Oh, you've got nice pictures, quality pictures, heaps of albums. You would find that in my parents' place. So I grew that with that sort of mentality that, it's important to document events, happenings around us. And thankfully, we are in a jet age. We are in that age that there are various ways to document things, right? So now coming to Northern Ontario, of course, there was that gap, so to speak, within the community. And I was like, you know what, over time, I don't think twice. I don't bat an eyelid in, personally even investing in pictures, documenting good moments. Then from home as well, I've trained as a photographer
Oh,
in the midst
wow.
of juggling other things,
That's
you
nice.
know. So, and here comes during COVID, and a lot of people were mentally down. People that I could, have access to, communicate and mingle with. I was just even helping out with their phones, helping out with, snapping them, doing some short videos just to have fun. And I kept getting the feedback, get started with this photographic
Mm,
journey. Friends around me were like, get started with this, get started with this. I was like, oh my goodness, with little kids, with my hands
mm.
full. Was that the right time?
Wow.
Hey, get started in whatever calling you have. And the lesson is get started anyway, get started afraid,
Mhm.
get started, even if it seems as though one is unprepared. Do not let imposter syndrome
Hmm. Get to
stop
you.
whatever your call is.
Oh, thank you so much for that. That's a very high point. Get started afraid. Don't say I'll do it tomorrow when I'm not that nervous to do it. Just get on, do it. Wow. Go
Nike
on.
would say, just do it.
Just do it.
And along the line, I went back to school, and back home, I was in the financial sector for about a decade, and here I am as a calling for business, so to speak, is Julianah Photography. Take it that I'm a busy mom here and there, just like any immigrant woman or black woman.
Wow.
So
That's
yeah,
beautiful. That's beautiful. Because you can't stay, one thing is not enough. One thing doing is not enough. You need to get your hands here, there, as at least something that you love to do. You know, it's important that we don't box ourselves. So we have so much inside of
absolutely.
us to give. And if you just feel, "Ah, I'm okay with where I am," you never can tell how far what you haven't done can go. You don't even know if that's the one you haven't done. You don't know, maybe that's the one that God has called you to do.
Yes,
You
absolutely.
know, I was going to say that, how do you cope with this technology apps that are doing these things without, AI doing it without anybody putting so much effort in it? How do you cope? And then again, tell us about the people you have been able to reach outside maybe our known community. How have you been able to extend your skills, your business to outsiders apart from, the, let's say, the migrant community?
So I'll speak to that. Business terrain in a new country is completely different from what we are being used to.
Mm-hmm.
So these were new things to me. How to navigate the business terrain. In Canada, there's a lot of specialty in almost every kind of business, especially photography.
Mm-hmm.
There's some people they face being a wedding photographer, they face being
They even go to
they
school to study
yeah,
photography and all.
yeah. So that being said, what I just did was, of course, being a believer, I committed to God's hands. What do I
Mm.
have to do here? And I got that leading. Get started with what is in your hand. There could be so many things in our hand, and God, and speaking to, how did you ask the question previously? How did you have it in mind you were going to do photography? The truth is, sometimes we could have a lot of skills, and the question is, what is our community in need of?
Mm.
And what is God telling us to do?
Mm.
So there are so many questions and factors that will pop up,
Mm-hmm.
and that we take before God and we get clarity,
Mm.
which was what I did in
Mm-hmm.
my case. And to the question you asked about AI being a competition, I don't see competition in any way.
Mm.
The truth is, when we see AI generated images, for the most part, we know.
Yeah,
And
it's
that
not
brings
it's
me
not natural.
and that brings me to this point that um before we'd even before AI, remember I said I don't see AI as a competition, and I don't even see competition at all.
Mm-hmm.
The truth is, before AI, quote and unquote, becomes a competition to any photographer at all, I'm not even speaking for myself, because if people see AI as being a competition to a photographer, then we are talking about other
Oh,
photographers
yeah,
too.
yeah.
So that being said, that means there are so many barriers AI would have to fight with, and I will explain. The producers of cameras of this world, AI will have to compete with Sony's of this world, Kodak of this world. They will have to
How
compete with
true.
Nikon of this world. They have
So
to
true.
compete with big brands.
So true.
So until they can bring, until they can compete with these brands before they can come into the inner circle, photographers or even say videographers, because they also make use of this product.
Yeah, yeah.
So think of it that way.
You're
And
right.
guess what? These ones are not relenting.
At
They're going to
all.
keep improving. In fact, we even have people that make use of their phones for a lot of visuals, because you can categorize photography as a business of visual, right? So AI coming in is to even make work efficient. Just like some people beyond photography as a business or beyond the business of visuals, some people might say, oh, introduction of AI into my job, day-to-day job is going to kick me out of the job. No, for the most part, it's to make our jobs efficient. So imagine having a redirection in our thoughts and seeing AI as a form of improving our day-to-day job. I don't see AI as a competition.
Wow,
at all.
that's a perspective that I never even I never looked into. It does. So I want to ask you, some time ago, you featured at Laurentia News. Please tell us about that. Because I've always wondered, I saw the post, but I didn't dig deep. I didn't dig deep. What I knew was something in Laurentia. And I know you were in school at Laurentia as well.
Yes.
So please tell us about your Laurentia
journey.
Story. Yeah.
Okay. So I went back to school to further my education, and that was in Masters in Computational Science at Laurentia. The whole motivation was to, transition into the Canadian job market properly, and also because coming back from home, I left quite a number of things. I didn't want a replication of abandoned projects. I was I was in the middle of my master's program when I left Nigeria to come to Canada, and I was like, oh my God, I didn't feel too good about it. And I was like, oh my goodness, I need to finish up what I started. So I went back to school, and guess what? Learning, I feel, should be continuous. Learning is good. Readers are leaders.
Yeah.
And if for anything, it helps the brain, to be creative, to think
It
deep.
stimulates
You can
the brain
never go
continuously.
wrong going back to school. Whether you're working with it immediately or not, you can never go, wrong. And education, in my perspective, can never and will never be a scam. Just keep learning. At Laurentian, it was a thesis-based option. And how did I feature there? I mean, it was more or less like, so to speak, a surprise for me too. I didn't notice. I had no idea, because I'm a private person. I had no idea that a couple of people were taking note of what I was doing. In my eyes, from my perspective, I just felt, it's just master's program. But the community at Laurentia didn't just see it as a master's program. They were like, you're here as a busy mom with young children. This is resilience that we see. We need to encourage someone that's still in doubt about going back to school, or even pick up a thesis program, because in the faculty of engineering or even science-based programs, when you do postgraduate study, most times it could be a course-based option and a thesis-based option. And in this era we are, you always find a lot of students tilting towards course-based option,
because they don't want to write all those
thesis thing. And for me, it's sort of fun, because the world needs improvement. And one research area was on cancer, early detection of cancer in the intestinal organ. Imagine, I'm trying to pick my words and to be as simple as possible. You know, a lot of times people would say, oh, it's in end stage of cancer and it wasn't detected early. And people might be wondering, how come? What happened? The question is the algorithm that feeds into whatever device that will be used to detect any form of cancer in any part of the body. Do we have all of those algorithms in place? Has there been improvements so far? You know, Laurentian education feature that it was just to appreciate the journey, to appreciate resilience, to appreciate academic exploits, and to encourage anyone out there, even mothers, that hey,
You
you
can
can
do
do
it.
it.
Wow, I'm encouraged. A true perspective, we try to bring the stories to encourage you, to empower you, and to inspire you.
The whole idea is